Thank you. Ishomla, thank you so much. And also thank you, Venerable Professor Tinzuesala. Thank you so much. And this is an amazing moment for all of us, for many reasons. In fact, I'd like to share with a little bit about this evolution of this, how it eventually culminated into a meeting together here. It was not something like very easy. It has been the journey of like 15 years. It's a gradual evolution, and now finally culminated into this. And first of all, let me say verses of auspiciousness, invoking the blessings of the Bodhicittavivaraṇa, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and all the enlightened masters, such as the 1700 masters and all my teachers, and all the enlightened masters of the different traditions of the Chinese Buddhism, Tibetan Buddhism, Theravada Buddhism, and particularly the great masters who put a lot of effort since 1,000 years ago, to establish this Buddhism, that it takes root in Ladakh. So let us remember their kindness and all the masters, particularly Chugyal Songtsen Gampo, the Tibetan religious king, Songtsen Gampo, 7th century AD, and the 8th century AD king Trisong Detsen, and the Bodhisattva Rakshita invited to Tibet, and then the Guru Padmasambhava, who was again invited. So and then all the translators, the great teachers, all along these 1,000 years, let us remember the kindness. And today we see that there's a living Buddha with us, His Holiness the Dalai Lama. So let us remember His Holiness's kindness, and it is in our hands to pray that His Holiness lives long for the benefit of all dear Mother sentient beings, for everyone, all where they were the torn zones and the conflicts areas, so where all these conflicts and the war subside. So let us pray for that. So with this mind as auspicious beginning, I'll recite a verse of the auspiciousness, invoking the blessings of Bodhicittavivaraṇa, His Holiness, all the teachers. Kange doze nyerso ne tawa tamje bambe chir tambe chune tunze kodam de la chance lo kange tuze nyerso ne tawa tamje bambe tambe chune tunze ba kodam de la chance lo kange tuze nyerso ne tawa tamje bambe tambe chune tunze ba kodam de la chance lo tonye nyinje sundo jube lam cheje seze kanje Chana Bemo Denzen Yazola So Adepso Shendo Lendo Sho Donye Ninja Zondo Jobalam Cheje Seze Kanje Denduk Chana Bemo Denzen Yazola So Adepso Shendo Lendo Sho Donye Ninja Zondo Jobal Cheje Seze Kanje Denduk Chana Bemo Denzen Yazola So Adepso Shendo Lendo Sho Sanje Joda Zoge Jonamla, Janjo Bado, Dane Gyabso Che, Dage Chinso Gebe Sonamge, Dola Venger Sanje Dubara Sho, Sanje Joda Zoge Jonam, Janjo Bado, Dane Gyabso Che, Dage Chinso Gebe Sonamge, Dola Venger Sanje Dubara Sho, Sanje Joda Zoge Jonam, Janjo Bado, Dane Gyabso Che, Dage Chinso Gebe Sonam, Dola Venger Sanje Dubara Sho. Okay, and we'll start the verse in English. It should be on page, I think, page 3 or page 4. Just the first two verses. And through your great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. And through your great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. And teach by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. I go for refuge and am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. By my accumulations of practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge and am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. By my accumulations of practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge and am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. By my accumulations of practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Before I go through all the introductory talk, let us recite the auspicious verse of the In Praise of Dependent Origination. It should be on page 4. Which page is it? In Praise of Dependent Origination. Sorry, no. In Essence of Dependent Origination, page 6. Page 6. And those of us who know how to recite it will rejoin me, and those who do not know how to recite it, just listen to us and then join us. Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum te sham tathagato yavatat te sham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye swaha. Oh, Dharma hetu prabhavam hetum te sham tathagato yavatat te sham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye swaha. Om ye hetu prabhavam hetum te sham tathagato yavatat te sham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaye swaha. And the meaning of the mantra: all phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata. The cessation of causes as well is taught by the great seer. Okay, now I'm going to quickly explain the evolution of how this retreat finally came into existence. Is that it has been almost like 16 years since 2009. 16 years that Tashila and Suna Omala, Tashila raise hand. Yes, Tashila is here. And Suna Omala, Tinzala, and a group of, I think about 6 or 7 of them, young Ladakh boys and girls, came to me who just started what is known as Flying Dharma. Today, everywhere we can hear of Flying Dharma. And they were being blessed because we didn't know each other at all. And by His Eminence, Gyaltsen Chungkön Rinpoche, I'm extremely privileged to be very close to him for all these many years, since we were in the late teenage, almost 19, 20 from there. So I had the honor of being with Rinpoche, His Eminence Gyaltsen Chungkön Rinpoche, and then with Tashila and his group, small Ladakhi boys, the group of young, dynamic boys and girls. And they were being blessed by His Eminence Venerable Chungkön Rinpoche. And because of Rinpoche, then we met in Delhi. And from there we started the journey. So our journey was actually a long journey. All these, like the last 16 years, it's a long journey. And extremely fruitful journey. And Tashila himself is extremely dynamic person. Extremely dynamic, and he has that capacity, that potential to drive the Ladakhi young boys and girls into the proper direction, into the direction of their culture, including Buddhism. And then on top of that, he also has the capacity to bring along what today we call as inclusivity, to bring along people from the different backgrounds, including the Muslims, Hindus, Christians, non-believers, young people all come together. This is his greatness. So it was a great starting point from there. And still, I have a very close contact with the team, like Sonaumale and the Tenzin. And then earlier there was one extremely dynamic young man, Ngonamgil. So that was a journey, and then yes, over time, Adeshila requested if I can come to Ladakh. So at that time, my mindset was more that Ladakh is a place where there are many great scholars, great teachers, and because seeing that is coming from him, and we know each other so well, so we're very good friends. So therefore, for me, it's easy to say yes, no, whatever. And then over a span of like many years, last year, I think it was last year, that the most venerable Geshe Dorji, the director of this beautiful space, Ngari Institute, Venerable Dorji called me up and asked if I can conduct a program here in Ngari Institute. And in my mind, because that he is way senior to me, number one, extremely knowledgeable, and a great monk, and somebody who takes the responsibility of the Dhamma. Look at this space. He single-handedly created this space. All the schools, the place, all these beautiful spaces from nowhere. He started everything. And then for him, it's not for any other motive other than just to spread the culture which was blessed by His Holiness the Dalai Lama, where he was blessed by His Holiness the Dalai Lama. And then in his mind, just for the purpose of the promoting, creating awareness, particularly instilling the culture, the Ladakhi, the Buddhist culture to the young Ladakh boys and girls. So look at this. This is enormous courage and the selfless service to the Dharma. So I truly, when I first got a call from him, my answer most likely may not be positive, but then he's very senior for all these many reasons. That was somebody who's taking the responsibility of promoting the Buddha Dharma, the message of compassion, grounded on the understanding of interdependency, which the world requires. Today, the world is just broken down into pieces, all because of the disrupted mental thinking, when the principle of universal compassion, driven by the wisdom of interdependency, that is lacking. That's lacking. Therefore, all these wars, conflicts, they're all happening just for this reason. So look at this. Somebody like the most venerable Geshe Dorji, who is just doing the opposite of what these people who create wars in the world, creating peace, selflessly working, no ulterior motive, just to make sure this once upon a time the ancestors of Ladakh, who brought this incredibly precious teaching of the Buddha, and then over time, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, encouraging the Ladakhi, the young minds, to make sure that they hold your culture so grounded. And then look, now such a courageous person, such altruistic, courageous person as the most venerable Geshe Dorji. So when he made the request, then I could not say no. So I just, okay, let's see, because they had to respect him for his seniority, for his knowledge, for his the dynamism, for his heart for the message of the Buddha, for the local people here, young people. I cannot say no. I just let's see, and then it was kept there. And then when we are in Bodh for the retreat, something like this kind, there's one the venerable professor Puja, venerable Professor Tinzi she is teaching in Nalanda University now, and then her student Ishomala and Ishomala approached me and said if the similar teaching can be given in Ladakh, where the youngsters can take part in this more, and then instantly this Geshe Dorji request just hit me, and I said, okay, now it's like say that we're all aging. I'm aging, and then whatever little that thing that I can do with some help, with some service, why not? So, coming from someone lab, I cannot say no. I said, let's see. And then the request coming. So then I thought, okay, now, so somebody's working so hard to make things happen here in Ladakh, Ngari Institute, Venerable Tsawala. And then I don't do anything. And he is making this request, very senior to me. And then there's somebody here now, all coming together. And I said, okay, let's see. So then two of them connected, and this was how it all happened. So because it started from His Eminence, the Most Venerable His Eminence Chungwe Rinpoche, who inspired the Flying Dharma. And then from there, the journey started, and so many things, beautiful things unfolded because of the Flying Dharma, headed by Tashila in Ladakh, in the Delhi. So many things good things happened. Many young people benefit out of this. And from there to Jammu, Chandigarh, and later here in Ladakh also. And very inspiring. So now finally, this all culminated in today's meeting. So here we see that the many seniors like Mr. Rinzila there, the former Indian government service, Mr. Rinzila there, and our Sabila here, great inspiration, very, very senior and inspiring many of the top-ranking, the Indian officials from the Ladakh side, Ladakh officials, and he inspired many of them. So we see that there are many seniors here, and also the venerable monks and nuns here, including venerable Professor Denzius Mengila here, and it's always very inspiring to see these things. And the the next thing is that we have the Russian group, which again I have to mention this very quickly here because that for the Russians I did not. Thus far, I could not really spell out how all these things happened. And if you look at around, there are other the participants from different countries, but on their own. But the Russian, you as a team, as a group, you came here, and you should know the evolution of this. So there was one girl who the Russian participants, Anna Tinzdulma. And she was just 19 years old when she first met me as a teenager. She met me, and then as a tourist, not for anything else, as a tourist. And and so there's some karmic connections there as a tourist. And then she asked the restaurant, so what is it, the central attraction of Dharamsala? And the restaurant owner said, Buddhism. And then she said, what should I do? And I was just staying next to that small restaurant, and that the restaurant owner said that go to this. There's a teacher here. Then she walked. He said, no, don't go like this. Go with the scarf. So he gave a scarf to her, and she came. So this is how everything. Now look, more than 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 Russians since 3 years ago. So you take all started from that teenager, all from that, not knowing how to do, and then the restaurant owner gave her a scarf. From this, everything started. And then later on, to discover that this young girl, she has been extremely consistent with her own studies, reflection, meditation, and then she was deeply, deeply moved by the benefit of the teachings of Buddha, and particularly intellectual study, intellectual translated into contemplation, then translated into meditation, could feel the benefit. So this is something which she wholeheartedly felt it, and because of this, then she suggested if Nalanda studies, Nalanda certificate course can be translated into Russian. And he said, yes, of course, we're very confident in you, you're a very stable girl. And then she contacted the Julia, the most venerable, Delur Rinpoche, amazingly great, open-minded, and the headed by Delur Rinpoche, and Julia being the one who really moves the NGO, and then took the initiative that this program, Nalanda Studies, can be made available to the Russian group in Russian language. So this is how now everything evolved, and now this is amazing. Not only the Nalanda Studies, but even the retreats also, they give the opportunity, and where the expenses incurred with respect to the whatever respect to the Russian translation, the NGO headed by Delur Rinpoche, and then at the ground, and Julia working there, they were so ready to take up the responsibility to make sure that the Russian translation is happening in many of the important occasions of these teachings, and then if any expenses incurred, which goes beyond what they actually able to gather, then the NGO is going to support. So this is how it evolved. Okay, now this is a good beginning, and I'm particularly entering the space here. It really moved me to see how the most venerable Geshe Samala, he put a lot of effort, selflessly worked so hard to bring this beautiful structure. And just here, brief meeting up in this the small room up there, he was telling me how he's actually inspiring the youngsters, not just going to rituals, but going to the studies to gain conviction. How His Holiness is so convinced about the efficacy of the Buddha's teachings, so courageous, to compassionate, and all grounded on the understanding, knowledge of the Dharma. So this is what His Holiness instructed him, and then he's trying in his own capacity to inspire a lot of young boys and girls to try to get conviction in the Dharma. If you get conviction, then you see that your culture is so strong, is so rich, is so beautiful, so relevant. So this is his initiative, and this is exactly we will try best to make sure that His Holiness's aspirations and all the Ladakhi, the past great masters, they should be so happy to see, okay, so we have to prove that we are here to fulfill their aspirations. And likewise, the most venerable Geshe, the Samala, that his aspiration is fulfilled. So this is so important to really adore, to really respect those people the venerables who really work for the sake of sentient beings and for the Dharma. Okay, so this is a little bit of introduction part. So next, this book that I hope that you all got this book. If you did not get this book, please make sure that you get a copy of this from the Tribula there, and we have Ishila, and we have others. Make sure that you get a copy of this for yourself, and if for the Russians as well as in English. And this book, let me quickly explain that this is a very important book, and don't think that this is going to be something that you can get easily from the Amazon. You will not get from Amazon. So so this is only available from Tibet House in Delhi, and this is like years, 20 years of effort. It culminated into this book, 20 years of effort. And later on, once your understanding of the Dharma becomes really good, you'll see that this book is extremely handy and very useful. And so many people's hands involved in this. So this is the one that you have in your hand, that is your copy. Please take it with you. This is your copy. But and some of you, I know you must have 7, 8, 9 copies from the early retreats, right? You have left it and you come here again, get a fresh copy. So some of you might have even 10. So that will tell you how many retreats you've attended. Okay, so what I'm saying is this is your copy. This is your copy, and how these copies come free for you. It's not that Tibet House is rich. It's all because that there is, number one, a couple, Singaporean couple, the brother Alvin and sister Christy. Two of them, and started the program of offering these books free for all the retreat participants. So even including the Russian, the books that you, particularly this time, for the Russians and for the English, the listening people, the book, these are all coming. The first came from Brother Alvin and Sister Christy from Singapore, and I think this time Brother Sonamla and his family from Singapore again, he offered, again he made the same donation that this book be made free to all the participants of this retreat. And Brother Sonam Lo, and the Sonam Lo, he is coming in few days time, and or maybe like tomorrow, maybe today, and yes, so this is your own copy. This is one thing that I'd like to share with you. And ideally speaking, I'm not too sure about the logistics here, but because that it is Venerable Geshe Dorji and the team who worked so tirelessly to make this happen, and you can see the infrastructure and so forth. And later on, usually I don't speak about anything related to fundraising, but what they're doing is something you can see. So therefore, seeing is believing. As such, what I would suggest is that later on, if you do feel that there's a possibility for you to contribute to the program meaning this institute, and they're supporting, like at the moment I learned about like 90 over 90 young children in the free education, and this is all very inspiring. So if you can support, this is support for the sentient beings, this is support for the Dharma, and to support somebody who so courageously who followed the Bodhisattva path, and who is not expecting even a single penny for himself. This is the greatness of this. You can see this. So this is where I may as well share with all the participants here, if you really feel touched in your own capacity, in whatever way you can be of some help to Ngari Institute, I'll be very happy. Then the next is about the group discussion. For the group discussion, what we would say is that here Ajike Sanla, raise hand. So Ajike Sanla and Chula Tendola are there. So I would give the charge to Ajike Sanla, because she took charge of the group discussion, all these things, because she initiated one of the retreats in Bodh Gaya. So therefore, she has the experience of that, and I would say that those seniors, there are many seniors meaning who took part in these retreats earlier many times, and they say that the Venerable Tenzin Gyatso actually also identifies some who are senior, and the Tenzin Gyatso can actually identify, help the Ajike Sanla to identify the seniors. And you already know many of the seniors. And some may look very young, but they're very seniors. Very young. You look at them, you see them like, say, 19, 20 years. For example, this girl, raise hand. Oh, here, the Namsala. Raise hand. Not like this, full. You look at her face, she's like, 18 or 19. But she's very senior. Attended many of these retreats. So there are many who are seen as, I would say that the group discussions are extremely important. And from what I've learned is that with respect to the place where you stay and where you come for the class, there's a huge space gap, meaning distance. So therefore, we have the group discussions morning and the afternoon, two group discussions, and the evening meaning after the dinner. Usually we have one group discussion which is optional, so that I will so unless there's some technical issues that I'll discuss with the most venerable Geshe Dorji, and if there's no technical issues, it's optional. The third one's optional. It's not that somebody has to come, but the first and second they are mandatory. The first group discussion is from 9 to 10:30 is the teaching, 10:30 to 11:30 1 hour, quick tea break plus group discussion, and then the 11:30 to 12:30 is again one class, 12:30 to 3. There's a big gap of time, your own personal time, lunch plus personal time, and then 3 to 4:30 is a teaching, 4:30 to 5:30 is group discussion, tea and group discussion together, and then 5:30, so dinner, I don't know what time, 6, it has the thing, and then if there is no technical problems with the institute, then I would say that those who are interested for group discussions, personal, optional, third one's optional, so those who are interested to have more deeper the discussions, then there's going to be purely optional and will happen in this hall, and only one group. Whereas if the option, even if the option also becomes very big, then we might have to split into two. Otherwise, that's purely optional. Third one is optional. The first and second mandatory. Okay, and and also that for those of us who already born as Buddhist in the Tibetan Buddhism, and who are already in Tibetan Buddhism for the last many years. For example, like Desi and many of the Russians who are taking part in this retreat, I know that they already know the practice of the food offering, saying the verses, the grace for food offering and so forth. So those people who are coming here for the first time, raise hands. Those of us who are not here for the first time, say attending my retreats for the first time, raise hands. Attending my retreats for the first time. Okay, those of you who are attending my retreats for the first time, and if you can take part in these programs, like say food offering, the grace that you say, and then what is being said, and we also read like 10 to 20 the verses every time before the lunch, before the breakfast, and before the dinner, and we read this to supplement this retreat. And so therefore, those of us who are really new and don't feel overwhelmed, oh, this is ritualistic, don't worry about this, just learn, and later on, if you don't agree, discard it. Just to see what is, you say, the skew. Skew or skewed? Skew. So I'm asking Arunachal about the Ladakhi culture, skew. And you try skew, don't be scared. Try skew, and if you like it, enjoy it. If you don't like it, fine, you know what skew is. Likewise, all these things, little bit of things which we do as a part of it, you may see them as a ritual, just see what it is like, and later on, if you disagree, just discard it. As easy, keep it easy. You're getting it? But just to learn, so what is that like? Even that would be very helpful. One. Then the next is that from tomorrow, the morning session, morning at 5:45 to 8, that is the morning practice session. Oftentimes what happens is that the people, when they come to learn about the reasonings, the intellectual information, when you learn these things and gradually you see that what you're learning intellectually, they're extremely relevant to your well-being. Well-being meaning for your transformation. You see that you otherwise early one time, you may be so agitated, you may look at things very differently. And after this retreat, many people, they feel that, okay, there are different ways of looking at things. Not necessarily that I have to always have the perception, which always triggers irritation, agitation, restlessness in me. No, there's a different way of looking at it. But how to sustain this practice? This is oftentimes a question coming from many people. And when I was in my 30s, early 40s, I had so much energy. I did not know what is meant by tiredness. And there was one, the Tibetan, the bureaucrat, very high level bureaucrat. And then when he attended some retreats of mine when I was in my 30s, 40s. And some seniors, they were wanting to attend the other retreats. That gentleman, the Tibetan bureaucrat, he was, are you sure you want to attend his retreat? It's so intense. You're getting it? Okay, meaning that you feel tired. Okay, so don't be overwhelmed. Don't be scared. What I will say is that the morning practice is particularly for us to design your personal practice on a daily basis. But you don't worry, okay, now again there's something additional thing that you do every day. Don't worry. If you think that is totally irrelevant, let it go. Just leave it. But if you feel that is relevant to you, then you will adopt it. You will. But you have to know how to do that. So we're offering the platform for us, how to do things. What do you like to do after attending this retreat? So the morning session is just for that purpose. And generally speaking, those who are on heavy medication, you require more rest and so forth. We truly understand this, and I would say that don't try to push yourself. Those people who are on heavy medication, not otherwise. And others, no excuse. And those on heavy medication, I would say that and then you force yourself come here and the whole day wasted, because that you require a lot of rest. And for such people, they don't feel any compulsion to come to the morning practice. Otherwise, and those seniors, I would say, the seniors who have already been into Dharma for the last 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, more than like 3 years, and you have your personal practice. So they require their own time for the practice. They already know what to do, so it's not necessary for the seniors to come in the morning. But if seniors, don't see yourself in the bed, right? You should be doing something. Your personal practice. If the disciplinarians come to know that you're in a bed, then you will see yourself in the hall from the next day, the seniors. Okay, otherwise, we should be together here. Okay, good. So with this in mind, and yes, the group discussion is extremely important. And the Ajike Salam, last time her managing the program, in Bodh Gaya. It was in Bodh Gaya. And her managing the program is just amazing. It's so smooth, where nobody feels intimidated. Everybody feels these are the skills required. These are the Bodhisattva skills. From the Bodhisattva path, say you engage on an expansive scale. At the same time, people don't feel intimidated. People feel included. They're given attention. At the same time, they don't abuse the system. The people don't abuse the system. They follow the system well, and they don't feel unhappy or irritated. So this is how Ajahn Sala managed things so well, and we're so lucky that we have Ajahn Sala and Chola Tindoli here, and their son Kandila here. Okay, Kandila, I learned that he's extremely bright. This is what I learned. Okay, so what I'm saying is that this group discussion is so important. And then given that Ajahn Sala is very experienced in this, and the Dr. Tenzabasala, Professor Tenzabasala, she will help Ajahn Sala identify the people in case if Ajahn Sala could not identify those who are regularly coming to Tibet House, and more than coming to Tibet House, should be coming to Tibet House plus the retreats. And who would be able to do that things, and then some of the people I may able to identify. Okay, so the group discussions are very important. In the group discussions, because that we are coming here, and some people may be too excited, overexcited, and then you forget that you have only 1 hour and one person speaks for like 15 minutes. So then the purpose of group discussion is lost. So therefore, the moderators, whoever Ajahn Sala and Professor Tenzabasala identifies, the moderators, usually you are the experienced people, moderators make sure that you give the opportunity to the people to speak, to give the opportunity to as many number of the people as possible, to the person as possible, that each one of them speak for like 1-2 minutes, 1-2 minutes, 1-2 minutes. You're getting it? Not like giving a lecture. So even if you have a lot of things, still we have 10 days, don't worry. Right, you have a lot of things to say. So we have 10 days. So you don't have to format everything in one session, right? What I mean to say is that the participants. So restrain yourself, just speak, and not necessarily everything should be decided. These should be settled in the group discussion. Okay, so in other words, as the participants, and no need to feel shy. Just speak your mind. There's no right and wrong answers. Speak your mind, and some seniors can help you. And seniors, I would suggest don't throw your bombastic big questions right from the beginning. Seniors, take the responsibility to listen to the newcomers more. That newcomers speak, what questions that they have, entertain them, give the answers very briefly. Not necessary that you should this person should become enlightened the very moment. You're getting it? So don't expect that. Buddha could not do that. So therefore, don't expect that. What do you say? This is what I did when I was in my 20s. Thinking that, okay, now is the time. I should be kind to let that person know everything what I learned the 10 years. Right? This is what I did. This is what I did, and I failed. You're getting it? Okay, so this is very important group discussion. And then what I would say is that from the evening after dinner till next morning, except for the evening optional group discussion, dinner till the next morning is duration for silence. Silence, maintain silence. And in your room, people who share rooms, if you have the proper discussion on the philosophy that we are learning here, feel free to discuss, but not about, okay, what's your plan after 30th? Any plan? Do you want to pangong? So this shop, what is something? So these gossips should not be happening in between these two, meaning from the dinner till the next morning. So it's going to be silence. And why I encourage people to speak, discuss on philosophy, because that we're discussing, although it says in praise of the bodhicitta, the text, in praise of bodhicitta, actually it's all about emptiness. It's all about emptiness, which is extremely sophisticated philosophical text. And many of you, I know you are from the Nalanda studies, most of you are from Nalanda studies, and those of you who are not, And the idea is that it's about the philosophical discussions, and it will no doubt make you a little tired, and you may not feel that you are tired mentally, because that your brain is going to be activated, very different from how otherwise it gets activated. So you will feel tired, and then there and take more rest, where make sure that you go to sleep on time and have a good rest. This is very important, because that your mind is going to be activated very differently, continuous for like 10 days. So this is a great opportunity for us to activate the mind. That is the tool from our side, with the correct information from the Buddha's teachings and the tool of your very active mental state and the correct information from Buddha combined together will bring about transformation within yourself. Okay, so with this in mind, let us today. Let me just quickly, first of all, explain to you about the next half an hour. I'll explain to you a little bit about how the Buddha Dharma came into existence, and then not like stories, not like historical accounts. It's more the more technical aspects, and given that it's a mix of the participants, so therefore those of you who are already aware, you already have this broad knowledge, deep knowledge, that for you this is going to be more like revision. For those of us who are coming here or meeting me for the first time, and these are going to be extremely important things, and when necessary, I would suggest you to make notes. Okay, good. So with this in mind, the first, say the first question that I'd like to begin with this retreat is that what for have you come for the retreat? What for? What's the purpose of you coming to the retreat? Just start from there. So in a way, and this is not just to tell you that, okay, some of you who may come here to explore what Ladakh's like, right? And then there's this good opportunity, this retreat there. So I clubbed the two together, right? Okay, now he knows my mind, right? Okay, I'm a little scared. Don't worry. So why I meant to ask this question? Is deep inside there's a bigger question. What's the purpose of life? This bigger question. You're getting it? So it starts from the practical side of our being together here. So in other words, what's the purpose of life? What's the purpose of life? This is the first question. Let's not forget it. So with this in mind, let me bring it to your notice that what is the purpose of life? How the Buddha saw, how the Prince Siddhartha, he saw as a purpose of life, and what we, and many of us, you have encountered with this question a lot in your own capacity, meeting with family members or attending some conferences, being in an academic setting. These questions are constantly being asked, and it must have also come to your mind. And I remember that there was one little girl, the Singaporean girl. Okay, Brother Quack is here. Professor Quack, where are you? Professor Quack, there. Okay, Professor Quack from Singapore, and the lawyer, Professor Quack, was engineer, and he was touring the world to give lectures everywhere. So he came from Singapore. There was one little girl. I used to meet her when she was, I think, 6 or 7, and then gradually she grew to age 12. And I learned from her, the mother and her aunt, that she started to ask big questions. What's the purpose of life? Why am I on the planet Earth? All these questions, and she's very serious. So what I'm expecting each one of us to really contemplate on this: what's the purpose of my life? You getting it? It's very important. And some of you may be feeling a little low, or say your background, you may not be sharing with other people, you may feel a little low. Don't worry. Say this retreat, I'm hopeful because that's from the quality of the people that are meeting here and the amazing text by Nagarjuna, all combined together, and the sacred place of Ladakh, where His Holiness pays a visit to Ladakh so often, and that Ladakh people, they reference to His Holiness and they pass great masters. So it's such a blessed place. So with this, on such situation, I'm very hopeful that if there are some of us here who feel a little low or sad or lost or whatever, you will feel that your mind is being rejuvenated. You feel that you are healing. You can feel the healing here. You will perhaps, and the total, say, breakthrough healing can happen to each one of us. And then it is all very like-minded people here. So please feel at ease. So with this mind, ask question, what's the purpose of life? Don't forget it. And no yes or right, no correct or wrong answer. So whatever you think, just express it and listen to somebody else, and then keep growing. This is a job. So now let us see what was the purpose of life, which the Buddha, Prince Siddhartha, what he saw. And then let's see the progression of his journey, of his life. And for us, the first thing is that Prince Siddhartha, in his life, born as a prince to the father, the king, Shuddhodana, and he was being so well protected from the meeting with the undesirable things happening in the kingdom. Okay, the undesirable things happen in the world, and finally, this prince. Thank you. Finally, this Prince Siddhartha, at the age of 29, seeing that, of course, he was extremely intelligent as a young boy, as a young prince, and extremely compassionate. And he was constantly seeing the injustices in his own palace, injustices where the commoners who were brought there to work to serve the royal members, and how at times they were being so badly treated, and also seeing the wars happening among among the various kingdoms, and seeing all these diseases, hunger, all these problems. And deep inside, this young prince was so sad. Not that he has to go through sickness, aging, death. Not that he's hungry. Not that he's being treated badly. But because the world is suffering, this is what he was seeing. So then, okay, so some of you, particularly who heard the story, I would say that this is a technical part of the story of the Buddha's life, biography, technical aspect. Okay, easiest stories conveyed in very easy forms. You can see this in many books. So this is a technical aspect. And then he contemplated, this Prince Siddhartha, he contemplated that, okay, so what can I do to save the world, to help the world? So if I flow my life the way I'm doing now, at the most I can become the next king. Become next king, how can I help the world? Look at my father, he is already the king. He could not help the world. Forget about helping the world. He can't even help his own kingdom. He can't even help his own people in his palace. Forget about helping the whole world. So I will just become one like him. So this is not the solution. The world is suffering. The world is on fire. So I have to look for a solution for the world. So finally, he realized that I have to go through a breakthrough. Breakthrough in, say, seeing the world very differently. So he left the palace to for an alternative way. Then finally, he met with the first teacher. Many of you know who was the first teacher? Acharya Alarakalam. And second teacher? Acharya Udreka, the two teachers. And these two teachers, okay, these are the technical aspects. You getting it? Why I'm technical? Because that somebody may know the names, somebody may know that, okay, Prince Siddhartha, and he was not happy, he left, and finally he became enlightened. So these are the easy stories. But the technical sides is that, so why Prince Siddhartha left the first teacher? Why Prince Siddhartha left the second teacher? Why? And what was the uniqueness of the first teacher? What was the uniqueness of the second teacher, which was missing in the first teacher? These are the technical sides. Okay, the first is that he met with his first teacher, Acharya Alarakalam. And Acharya Alarakalam, and then say, when I go into the technical sides, those of us who are new here don't feel intimidated. You getting it? What we suggest is that make notes. Make notes. Say the things, the unique things, like what distinguishes the two teachers. What are the qualities? Based on the qualities. It's not about, the person's presence or whatever. It's about the qualities. What are the qualities? These are something that we have to learn. If you don't learn this, then we will never get the technicalities that we are sharing. So the first teacher, he gained expertise in known as the single-pointed meditation. He gained expertise in single-pointed meditation. Within the single-pointed meditation, there are various levels. And the level that he gained, the level that he gained expertise in is known as the vacuity of the formless realm. Vacuity, V-A-C-U-I-T-Y, vacuity of the formless realm. So, formless, don't interpret it in your own ways. Vacuity, don't interpret it in your own ways. These are all very technical meanings. You're getting it? For example, say, if you are 20 years ago, if you are at a time 20 years ago, and somebody says the word attachment in computer, you cannot guess attachment means desire. You're getting it? Why? Attachment in computer sense, what is that? It's not desire. It is what? The file that you're going to attach. You're getting it? So therefore, don't guess. Vacuity, don't guess. Oh, vacuity means empty. Or formless means the realm where there's no form. Don't guess. So these are all technical terms. For example, I say relativity theory. Don't guess. Relativity theory. You know the word relativity. You know the word theory. But you cannot guess what is relativity. You have to know that. You have to study that. Right? Quantum physics, most likely people cannot guess. Because quantum itself is a technical word which usually is not used in the conventional conversations. But some nowadays even people use very loosely. Right? So the quantum of understanding is used in a very different way. Okay, so what I'm saying is that the first teacher, his expertise was expertise in meditative concentration known as vacuity of the formless realm. And in this 10-day, we're going to learn all these things. You're getting it? Don't worry, just note them down. And if you don't understand, if you don't get something, you bring this up in the group discussion, and the seniors and the moderators will help you, the seniors will help you with these things. And where the questions that you bring up in the group discussions, if you still are not happy with answers that you get from the seniors or your group, feel free to bring them up on the table, my table. You're getting it? So the point is that, so when I say bring it on my table, this is the ultimate final answer. This is not the case. You're getting it? Even this can be for further exploration. This can be a cause factor for us to go into deeper analysis, and maybe your question that you brought on my table can become like the source of your inquiry for the next 20, 30 years. It can be extremely beneficial. Okay, so this first part. Then the Prince Siddhartha, he say he reached the same level of meditation, the realization as his first teacher. He requested for more teachings, and the teacher said that you got everything. You reached the same level as me. You got everything. Now there's nothing more beyond this. So you stay with me, and all my students are your students. You got them. And Prince Siddharth, he left, and he sought the help of second teacher. Second teacher, which means Prince Siddharth is very smart, which means he must have seen some qualities in the second teacher which are absent in the first teacher. Otherwise, he will not seek the help of second teacher. So he sought the help of second teacher. So the question naturally arises is that what may be the qualities that exist in the second teacher which were missing in the first teacher. So the quality is that the second teacher, his meditative experience is beyond what the first teacher gained, what the first teacher realized. So the second teacher's realization is known as the realization of the meditative concentration of the peak of existence of formless realm. And don't worry, just note down peak of existence and formless realm, peak of existence of formless realm, and then you check with your elders, seniors, as to what is peak of existence, what is formless realm. So you will learn all these things very quickly within a short span of time. So with the second teacher also, very soon, Prince Siddharth reached the same level as the second teacher. And the again request for more teachings. And the second teacher actually in the samsara only for one thing that is that we're going to learn wisdom of emptiness. Except for this, with respect to the meditation, the second teacher actually reached the highest level. But it was absent with respect to the wisdom of emptiness and bodhicitta. These two things are missing. And yet, with purely from the point of view of the meditation, the second teacher already reached the highest level, known as the meditative experience of the peak of existence of formless realm. So Prince Siddhartha asked for more teachings. And the teacher said that you already reached everything. You have already gained everything. You have already realized. So now stay with me. Help all the students. And Prince Siddhartha again left. And then finally he realized the wisdom of emptiness. So with this, what he realized, he said that this wisdom of emptiness, which most of you doing the Nalanda studies, you are familiar with that. And those of us who are new to this course, wisdom of emptiness is the one which is the only liberating path. Okay, anyone who likes to tell us what was this Prince Siddhartha seeking? This journey from the time he left his palace till meeting with the second teacher. What was he seeking? So what's the purpose of life? So what is the purpose that he's seeking? Having left the palace, met with the first teacher, met with the second teacher, and so forth. What is the purpose of life that Prince Siddhartha, okay, I wouldn't put it as purpose of life, I would say that what was Prince Siddhartha seeking all along this journey from having left the palace till reached the point of the meeting with the second teacher? Anyone raise hands, particularly those who are new to this? Yes. So he is seeking to end the suffering of all the beings, for himself and for all the beings. Okay, how many agree with your name? Bhavani. Okay, how many agree with Bhavani reasons that he's seeking the Prince Siddhartha? He left the palace till the point of having met with the second teacher. He was seeking to stop all the miseries, to stop all the suffering, to stop all the tears of samsara. We see people shedding tears, acutely painful. Okay, tell me, how many of you have shed tears in your life? Raise hands. Let's be very honest. How many shed tears in your life? Tenzin Angela, I remember you so well. Yes. Okay, how many shed tears? Raise hands. Okay, tell me, how many how many don't know what is shed tears? Raise hand. Anyone who has not shed tears in life? Okay, we all shed tears. Okay, is there anybody who likes to share with us? Of course, shedding tears, there too. Shedding tears out of joy and shedding tears out of sorrow, out of sadness. You're getting it? Did you shed tears? Yes, in the office. Okay, so let's say that shedding tears is very painful. For you to shed tears, so painful. To see somebody else shedding tears, so painful, so painful. How many agree with me, hands? Okay, okay. So this is acutely painful. And the question is, can that be stopped? That is a whole different story. You're getting it? At least Prince Siddhartha, he left his palace, meeting with the first teacher, meeting with the second teacher, reaching the same level as the second teacher. Still, he could not find the solution. Seeking the end of suffering. He did not discover that. So he left the second teacher, and finally he discovered the wisdom of emptiness. And then he spent 6 years in meditative state, and finally he became the fully awakened one. You getting it? He became fully awakened one. Now from this, in a way, what we are saying is that this is how this Prince Siddhartha was seeking purpose of life. Seeking purpose of life, and so he was to help others, to stop the tears, teach how to stop the tears in others. And some of you may think that still people are crying, still people are shedding tears, so which means that he could not fulfill this goal. But he's saying that he already fulfilled the goal. Okay, he knows how to stop the tears. You getting it? He knows, and he's sharing the wisdom with others how to stop the tears. Okay, so now whether we do it or whether we don't do it, it's up to you. It's your choice. For example, it was perhaps last year. The Tibet House, the staff quarter allocated to me, it was being renovated, and there was one worker whose job is to paint, and his painting skills were almost zero. And I was telling him, you can paint like this, and I told him that if you learn how to paint like this, you will have a huge demand. You will have huge demand, and gradually you can run your own company. You can own a company of painting, right? And you can hire people, give them jobs. And he said that, I'm not interested. He said, I'm not interested. I'm not going to learn from you. He said that whether what I do is correct, not correct, this is my way. If you like it, okay. If you don't like it, I'll leave. He's not at all interested. You're getting it? So therefore, the Buddha shows the path, right? The path. Simply because somebody shows the path doesn't mean that this is a path. It can be wrong path. You're getting it? Let's not forget it. You and I, all of us, we need to know this. Somebody said, here's a path. Right? Somebody may be showing you a picture of a pizza here. This is pizza. It's not a pizza. It's a paper. You're getting it? And some people, they think this is pizza, and they want others to know that, others to think that this is pizza. This is not pizza. This is a piece of paper. So therefore, don't be confused. Because some people showing you the picture of pizza and saying that this is pizza, but some actually giving you the pizza and this is pizza. You have to be smart enough. How does it be smart? We all have the capacity to be smart. You getting it? We have to activate that potential within us to be smart, to distinguish which is the real pizza versus picture of the pizza. Picture of pizza is not a pizza. You getting it? Don't be confused. Okay. So with this in mind, then so this biography is something so unique. What I'm sharing with you is so unique. It's not that I am sharing. This is what was given to us, passed down to us by one great Indian master, Acharya Dignaga. Acharya Dignaga. He was the father of the Buddhist logic and father of the Buddhist epistemology. And also we can say the father of the Buddhist logic and father of Buddhist epistemology. And he was in the around 4th and 5th century AD. And some say it's like 6th century. It doesn't matter. The date is like flexible 5th and 6th century. So this teacher, okay, look, this is very important. The life story of the Buddha, put it in a very technical aspect. So there, he just put this in 2 lines, and we have to know this story. So because here is going to be very interactive session. Interactive. In the class is going to be interactive. Group discussion interactive. So the whole purpose is twofold. One is, of course, to get the information, get more information, to learn something. Number two, to activate your intelligence. Number two, to activate your intelligence. Because we know those 2 things. If you have the information, but your intelligence is not activated, there's a problem. If your intelligence is activated, but information lacking, this is also another problem. You're getting it? What are the problems? I'll quickly share with you. And then we'll take a short break. Okay. The first, which do you want to hear first? With activation of intelligence happening, but without information, or information first without the activation of the intelligence? What do you want to hear first? Anyone? Just by saying information doesn't help me. Information first or last? Last. Intelligence first. Okay. So now let me share say where the intelligence is missing, although you have the information, it doesn't help. I'll tell you. So therefore we require, the message is that we require both. Information you're getting, information that I got is from His Holiness, from all my teachers, and then which in turn inherited from the incredibly great, the masters, for example, like Gyabje Tisur Rizonbuche, Rasrambuche from Ladakh, incredibly great Bodhisattva. So we receive teaching on this. So these are information that you're getting. But the intelligence, I cannot give intelligence. You have to activate it. You're getting it. How to activate it? We can help each other. You can help me activate my intelligence. I can help you to activate your intelligence by making us think. Every time you think, your intelligence is sharpened. Okay, so in the absence of intelligence, even if the information, it will not help. The example that I like to give is, how many are from IT background? Raise hands. How many are from IT background? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, the girl over there, 5, 6, and 1 from Apple. Here is hand. Yes. Okay. So say these people will understand what I'm saying. You're getting it? Okay, what is it? Just imagine that if you are given up software, which software do you want? The most updated, they say, the most sophisticated software, or the old style software? Which do you prefer? Anyone resents? Okay, let's say the sophisticated software. I like most sophisticated software. Resents? Most sophisticated software. Okay, those who do not resent, you have no idea what is software. I know. So before the retreat, you have to know what is software. You're going to check from these people, right? Okay, so now what to do? Okay, so what I'm saying is that, say you want the most sophisticated software, but if your hardware is 50 years old, if you have hardware, your computer which is 30 years old, okay, let's not say 50 years, 20 years old, 30 years old, and you put this most sophisticated software in this computer, does it work? Hey, This is what I'm saying. 30 years old computer. It'll no way, it'll not work. Software is the information. You getting it? Software the information, and your intelligence is your hardware. If your hardware is intelligence weak, but if you get the very sophisticated software information, you cannot process it. You're getting it? You cannot process. So Nagarjuna's philosophy, we are learning Nagarjuna's philosophy, and we don't know what is software. You're getting it? And we are trying to get the more sophisticated software, and if you don't know what is software, you're getting it? So what we need is that even though software is so sophisticated, information is so sophisticated, but if the hardware is so outdated, it cannot process the software. It is no use. You're getting it? Okay. So what do you do now? If the software is so sophisticated and the hardware is like 30 years old, what should we do? Upgrade the hardware. Upgrade the hardware, which means your brain, your mind is the hardware. This needs to be activated, upgraded. Activated, make your mind more intelligent. That the very sophisticated software of Buddha Shakyamuni or Nagarjuna, you're able to process them. So for that, you need to upgrade your hardware. This is one part. What's the second part? What's the second part of the story? Oh, the hardware is very weak. What is the second part? Intelligence is activated, but the information is lacking. So again, there's a problem. I'll tell you, and then we'll stop here. Break. And the Ajikasana, I don't know how you'll manage. You need to have the list of the people. Ishomala can give the list to Ajikasana, and then temporarily you can just split into them for them to know each other, right? Okay. So then next is your intelligence is so sharp, but the information is lacking. Again, it's a problem. So this was for this. The thing is that it is not just the stories. I didn't come from Delhi to tell stories. You're getting it? It's just to make sure that we learn something, to make sense. So therefore, the most able Geshe Dorji, the director of this Ngari Institute, so but he told me that if we can use this space to activate the intelligence of people, to let them get the correct information of the very intelligible information about the reality and so forth, which can go compatibly with quantum physics and how the mind works compatibly with neuroscience, then people's conviction will grow. Conviction will be very strong. And then you will know, it's not that then you'll become a Buddhist. No, this is not the point. Then you will become a very stable human being who can make your family members happy, not easily irritable or irritated when something goes wrong. Instead, you become very calm and composed, where the family members can see the change in you, that you can make your family members happy. For example, your family members are Hindus, they become very gentle, calm, happy Hindus. If they are Muslims, they become very calm, gentle, the Muslims. Likewise, Jains, Sikhs, Jews, non-believers, including non-believers, Sikhs, Buddhists, whatever, that you're able to make your family members very happy, sensibly happy, and then to really extract the greatest meaning of one's life, to give us such meaning to your life. That's a purpose, not for somebody to become Buddhist. No, it doesn't matter. You don't have to become Buddhist. So usually one thing that I share with people is that enjoy pizza. No need to become Italian. Enjoy pizza. So likewise, so learn this wisdom from the different traditions. There are many, say, the secular wisdoms which are amazingly profound. We can learn from them also. Finally, you should be a happier person. That's the point. Not for you to become a Buddhist, not for you to become Hindu, Muslim, Jain, whatever. Just for you to become a happy person with a greater sense. And the most happy. So now, what if you have the intelligence but not the information? What's the problem? I'll share in the incident and you'll, wow, that's true. And then we'll leave for tea. Okay, I was most likely age 17 in class 11 before I became a monk. And my teacher, math teacher, oh, by the way, I just like to tell you that class 9, 10, 11, 12, since I was age 14, 15, 16, 17, I was so fond of physics. First, I was so fond of mathematics. And then when the physics was taught as a separate subject, I became so fond of physics. So physics and maths. And I think that Kandila is also very strong in physics. Right? Correct, not correct? Huh? Okay. I learned that you are very good in physics. Okay, expressing humility. Chemistry. Okay. Organic chemistry. Both. Okay, thank you. So my math teacher, he shared one incident that happened to him. There was many years ago when most of you are not born. This girl was not born who asked this question. Okay, when we were born, not born, that was 1980, 1987. Not born. Oh, so they should have not born. Yeah. So my teacher, math teacher, he said that his car broke down, and he took the car to the mechanic. At the mechanic, he just first opened the bonnet to check the engine. At the mechanic, he took a hammer and hit the spot 3 times. Bang, bang, bang. And then he started the car. It works. Then my teacher asked, how much should I pay? And the mechanic said, okay, by today's standard, $300 US. $300, big or small? Just hit the car 3 times. Bang, 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 and $300 US. Very expensive. How many agree with $300 cents? Very expensive. And the teacher said, it's too expensive. You hit the car 3 times, bang, $100. Bang, $200. Bang, $300. Just hit the car with $300. Too expensive. He said, no. I do not charge you for hitting the car. Because, right, hitting the car 3 times is free. Okay, you hold this hammer and you also hit. It's for free. I give it for free. But you know how to hit. I know how to hit. That's for free. You don't know where to hit. I know where to hit. You're getting it? So I have the information where to hit. You don't know where to hit. Therefore, you brought it to me. I charged for me knowing where to hit. $300. Whereas hitting, therefore it's free. You're getting it? So therefore, intelligence is there, but the information is lacking. Again, you will end up nowhere. So we require intelligence plus information both. You're getting it? So the class here, information that I'm sharing with you, in fact, are in Nagarjuna's text, which we're reading from the book, In Praise of Bodhicittavivaraṇa. So this text is amazing information. At the same time, we also need to activate the intelligence. You're getting it? So how to activate intelligence? And some of you may feel that, okay, now what do you do? I'm expecting some practice happening here, and then now he's saying intelligence, and when I was in school, I'm not so intelligent. You may feel like this, but keep in mind that even the intelligence, don't underestimate yourself. Don't underestimate yourself. We all have the capacity to activate the intelligence. So how do you do that? Partly in the class, is given that is the interactive session, interactive. Therefore, it's meant for activating intelligence plus group discussion. That as many should speak as all of you. Make sure that you speak in the group discussion. These are all means to help activate your intelligence. Okay, we'll stop here for this for the short break, and okay, we'll turn to page 30. Page 31. We'll recite the Heart Sutra mantra. Most of you know how to recite the mantra, and those of you who don't know, just join us, and let's make sure that whatever we recite, we know the meanings. You may not know the meaning now, but you have to learn to make sure that before you leave this retreat, you learn the meaning of all what we're doing, the mantras, and for example, Heart Sutra mantra. Whatever we are doing, we have to make sure that we know the meanings. Okay. Deyata Vam Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhisvatyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgate Bodhisvatyata Om Gate Gate Paragati Parasamgate Bodhisvatyata